are live in Studio B with your day-to-day BYU sports play-by-play, moving right along. I'm Spencer Linton alongside Jarom Jordan. Joining us now is college football insider and expert, the man who produces the SP Plus projections. He is Bill Connelly. He is awesome, and BYU fans love you extra these days, Bill, because you've got the Cougars rated pretty high in the SP Plus projections. What's the story there? Why is BYU essentially a top 25 team according to your numbers?
Well, the biggest thing they have going for them this year is they're number 2 in my returning production figures. Top 25 on offense and then just straight up number 1 on defense. And obviously now I'll go through and update the rosters again after the spring, and we'll see. That'll change something for this team or that team. But that's the biggest thing they have. Last year, their offense dealt with massive turnover and still played at a top 15 level. They were 15th in offensive SP+. The defense did fall back quite a bit. They're all the way to 79th, I think, but now they return just about everybody. And so they're projected to rebound into the top 50. So that's a recent history plus returning production plus recruiting. That's basically the SP+ formula. And at least on 2 of those 3, BYU looks really, really good for 2022.
How would you characterize what BYU did in 21 and moving forward now that the Big 12's in the mix, given that 2020 was sort of this unique season? BYU schedule blew up. They didn't play any Power Fives. They had Zach Wilson. And then 21, BYU actually kind of responded, right, with a 6-1 record against Power Fives and a 10-win season.
Yeah, I mean, they still, I think they were, I don't remember where they finished in 2020. It was top 15 for sure. I think borderline top 10, if I remember right, in SP+. And they didn't fall last year. They fell to 46. Now, that was partially because of kind of a mid-season swoon a little bit. They were 60th 2 months into the season, and then they rebounded from there, obviously. But it was still, considering what they lost, they were, they're number 2 in returning production this year. They were bottom 10 in returning production last year. So to still be able to play at a top 50 level, play really good offensively, again, despite what they lost, including the offensive coordinator, which didn't even count in the projections, to be able to withstand that and still play at a high level, that's the best thing you can. That's the best way you can prove yourself, I guess, is, to do it and then lose a bunch of guys and then do it again immediately. The offense is kind of a known quantity at this point, and it'll just all depend on how much the defense rebounds this year.
Bill Connelly is an ESPN staff writer and college football insider. He is on BYU Sports Nation. This morning, we were putting BYU in a list of all of the Cougars' opponents in 2022, and very quickly noticed that the only team above BYU in the SP Plus is Notre Dame. And then there's BYU, and then Baylor and Oregon really close behind. But is BYU really the second best team on their own schedule other than, are they only worse than Notre Dame?
Well, I think Arkansas is a really interesting team this year. It's hard to get a particularly good read. They do lose a lot of pieces from last season, so we'll find out exactly if it turns out that they've been recruiting particularly well and that culture has really taken hold. They might be top 15, 20 this year, and that would probably put them ahead of BYU. But my numbers hated Oregon last year, at least compared to the title hype they were getting for a good portion of the season. Yeah, and Baylor loses quite a bit, and Baylor won a lot of close games last year, which is hard to replicate. So maybe they finished really high in the polls, but maybe they weren't quite, that level of team. They got some close breaks in key moments. So they're right. I think the bottom line is that, Notre Dame's probably ahead of them, but everybody else is, BYU is right there. They're not going to be obviously less talented than anybody else on the schedule, be it Baylor, be it Arkansas, be it, obviously Boise State. Stanford has a lot to prove. There are going to be some toss-ups here. Just because you're the second best doesn't mean, they're going 11-1. They're still going to have to win some close games. And Notre Dame could be a close game as well. But if they win their fair share of those close games, you are looking at a situation where you're, most likely threatening to win double digits again.
And that would be incredible given how tough these schedules have been for BYU and the build-up to the Big 12. BYU's not, Utah and TCU and some of these others where they're going from G5 in. They've kind of prepared for this. So how do you anticipate BYU will fare when it starts to compete in the Big 12?
Well, the Big 12, you think about the future Big 12 without OU and Texas. Take OU away and you've got there is no proven consistent top 10 or 15 program, but there is a heck of a lot of top 20, 25, 30 potential top to bottom. I mean, this is going to be a conference. You had 4 programs who have all been really good at least once in about the last 5 years. Houston, has a chance to be quite good this year, I think, with what they return. All 4 of those programs should fit right in. Just every game's going to be decided by 3 to 7 points. And it's going to be, I don't know from a national title contention standpoint what the Big 12 is going to have to offer, but it's going to be the most entertaining conference to watch top to bottom. And that's because I think all of the newcomers should be able to compete very quickly.
Bill Connelly of ESPN is on BYU Sports Nation. The Cougars lose Tyler Algier, their great running back. They're hoping that they get some immediate injection of life with a transfer from California. But, I mean, is the offense more about the quarterback than it is about replacing one of the all-time great running backs? What do you see there?
Yeah, when I say BYU's second in returning production, that formula is very much weighted on what tends to make the most difference from year to year. And so quarterback obviously carries heavy weight in that formula. Receiving core carries a lot of weight. Running back really doesn't. It seems like running backs and linebackers are the positions where teams can, they can make up ground the quickest when they lose the starter. So that helps BYU right there. Now, Algier was awesome. I really, really liked what he brought to the table. And we'll see, any number of guys have gotten some carries here and there. Brooks is a very efficient runner as a whole, maybe not quite as explosive as Algier. But he's good at getting 5 yards on first down. He's good at moving the chains on 3rd and 2, things like that. And so maybe you can kind of make up that production. But the biggest part is, quarterback's back. Most of the receivers are back. The line is back just about intact. And so that's going to kind of drive. What are they? 11th, I guess, projected 11th in offensive SP plus this year. That's the major reason why.
Yeah, if they go 11th, BYU's in business, absolutely. Okay, let's talk about an issue we have with you. We like a lot of things about you. We don't like this one. No Luke Staley, the 2001 Doak Walker Award winner, who averaged 8 yards a carry in your top 100 college football running backs the last 6 years. What's up with that?
I will say with that list, it was, if you start to look at it, it was very, very heavy on 70s, 80s, 90s when guys were running a lot more. And so when I adjusted for era, it was certainly very friendly for those. But the biggest thing is I'm just going to give a very broad disclaimer and say 100 backs in 60 years is basically 1 to 2 a year. Some years had none. And there were about 300 backs that probably could have made that list. And that's an extremely unsatisfying answer. And it's the only answer I'm going to give.
It's a moral victory, Bill. We'll take the moral victory that Luke would have been somewhere in that list of 300.
Luke's near the top of white running backs from BYU to win the Doak. In fact, he's the only one.
Okay. We love your number system, obviously, but we're wondering, have you ever encountered a team, and maybe this year, where you look at what they're projected to do and you're just like, huh? How is that working out? Like, just a shocker. Is there any shocking team on your list this year when you look at the numbers?
Well, I think there are always some outliers. There are always some that I know are going to shock other people. What I have going for me is, I know how they performed last year. I know which teams that SP Plus liked, whether their record was really up to it or not. And then I see the returning production list before I get to the projection. So I know who's going to be projected to improve a lot. So usually I can at least brace myself, even if I know there are going to be some teams on the list that I don't really like where they end up, like say Tennessee at 9th, which is where they were in February. I at least know it's coming. Others might not, and it might surprise others. But I can at least when I hit the button, I know kind of what's coming. Now there are 131 teams in FBS, and over the weeks following the projections, I'm going to start to notice things like, oh wow, I didn't realize they were in the top 40 or something like that. But as far as that top 10 or 15 goes, yeah, whether you agree or not, I at least know it's coming in advance. I don't have to, brace myself.
Okay, regarding what's coming, I know you're a big soccer fan. We love soccer as well. What's the next frontier with quantifying soccer statistically?
Well, I think The most interesting thing to me is soccer has gone a long way in recent years, just in terms of, people understand what expected goals are, and people understand it's not just an abstract kind of flowing sport where heart and effort are all that matter or anything like that. We can measure stuff now. And I think we're starting to, the biggest advancement, I think, is just going to get to what amounts to box score stats, a box score creation that you can kind of glance at a soccer match like you do a football game or a basketball game, and just get a very good idea of, here's how the game played out, here's who did well. That doesn't really exist. Every format in the world is slightly different, and a lot of them are very good. But I do think we're getting to a point where you can just glance at a stat sheet and understand how a game unfolded, and that's not something we've really seen in soccer all that much.
Bill, it's great to catch up with you. I think Jarom is drafting an addendum right now to make Luke Staley the 101st greatest running back over the last 60 years.
Just missed it.
That's the other blanket part. Your guy was number 101, whoever it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Your guy was absolutely number 101.
Hey, thanks for taking some time with us. For those who don't know, where can they find more of your work?
Hop on Twitter. There's a document in there with everything I've done at ESPN, and that'll be the best place to start. ESPN_Bill C.
You got it. Bill, thanks so much for the time, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.